All right.
Well, then again, thank you so much for taking time for this. As we start, can you maybe talk a little bit about your role in the company?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Misha. Appreciate it. My name's Dan Lowden. I'm the CMO of a cybersecurity company called Human.
Hmm.
I own everything brand, everything demand generation, and all the elements that come underneath that for the company. We just merged with a company called Perimeter X, and we're now 450 employees and over $100 million in revenue. And we protect a very important part of the cybersecurity world, right? You hear about attacks, you hear about all different types of breaches and hacks and things like that. Our focus is protecting more than 500 companies from digital attacks like bots, like fraud, like account takeover or fake account creation, those type of things. So it's a critical part of protecting companies across the globe. And from a marketing perspective, I've got to go tell that story.
Awesome. And as for your personal background, how did you get started in cybersecurity marketing?
I'll start with this. It started actually in the restaurant industry in my 20s, which was a long time ago. But that's where I started to understand the importance of marketing and pleasing customers and creating a great experience for customers. So anybody who's been in the hospitality industry, food, restaurant industry knows how hard that is, right? But it's very, very fulfilling when you do that. I then went back to grad school, and then I moved towards international business and got pulled into a tech company. That one was called Sharp Electronics, and I've been in high-tech companies ever since, like IBM, part of the IBM ThinkPad team. I've been a part of the Wi-Fi wave that's now everywhere. I was at a startup called Wayport in the very beginning that got bought by AT&T. And then in 2014, I got pulled into cybersecurity because cybersecurity is a part of tech, has always been an important piece of tech. The problem is they never built cybersecurity into tech from the beginning. So that's why there was a lot of vulnerabilities and the like. So cybersecurity has always been part of my tech story. But in 2014, I was asked to join a company called vArmor as the head of marketing,
Hmm.
and have been in cybersecurity ever since. And it's been everything around microsegmentation, cloud security, endpoint protection, threat intelligence, and now at Human, it's around digital risks and bot protection, fraud protection, things like that. So it's been in tech for a long period of time, but cybersecurity has to be built into everything now, and that's why I find this so exciting and so fulfilling, because you're having an impact. You're protecting the world. You're protecting your family. You're protecting the companies that you work for. You're
Hmm.
protecting customers, employees. And
Hmm.
to me, that is a very profound thing to be able to do. And to me, a very honorable thing to do as a career. And the companies I work for, I'm very excited about each one of them because they're doing really good things.
Awesome. And well, to your point, it seems like there is so much more focus on cybersecurity now than I don't know 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I think I don't know if is it more uh, is it with technology, just it's technology adoption. I'm talking to CISOs and they're just saying, well, with very inexpensive tools, kids go to forums and learn, and they become really dangerous. I mean, for lack of a better term. So, is it? And it's maybe that is the result, but it seems like cybersecurity as an industry is just exploding, both in importance, in how much venture money is going in, how many cybersecurity companies are out there, M&A activities. Just there is so much focus, and as a result, it seems a lot more marketers are also probably looking to make this transition from technology to cyber, or even students who are just kind of learning and thinking of their career. So, kind of from your vantage point and for your experience, if you're talking to your, I don't know, 20-year-old self, 25-year-old self, someone who's just either looking to transition or looking to make a career, maybe more junior professional or even a student, what would be the top three things you would recommend they should focus on to kind of set them up for success?
Yeah, it's a great set of questions there. I mean, you hear about cybersecurity and breaches and hacks every day in the news, right? I mean, you hear about, Elon Musk and Twitter about fake account creation and
Hmm.
spam bots and things like that. It's impacting every company across the planet right now. It impacts companies, it impacts customers, it impacts each of us individually, right? And that's why I think this is such a honorable career from a marketing perspective, is that if you represent a great company, if you represent a great product, and that you are the company and brand advocate and the owner and the champion, because you feel that your product can help solve a lot of these problems, that is the best thing that you could ever ask for as a marketer, right? And that's what I wake up every day proud to be able to say what I do. Like when I tell people who I meet for the first time what I do, they actually shake my hand. And it's all the smart people that work for my company at Human that are doing all the real hard work. It's my job to go tell the stories of how we're helping companies and how we're helping protect them, and making the customers and the individual humans we work with successful in their own careers and heroes in their own companies, because we help solve a very big problem that every company is facing. So that's what I would say is exciting about the cybersecurity industry for marketers, is that it's something, to me, again, that's very honorable, that is great, demand for smart people to come and join,
Hmm.
and to fight the fight. And marketers have to be a part of that. So, it's well known there's over, probably now 2 million open positions in cybersecurity right now. That is a problem that is going to continue for a long time. We can't train people fast enough. And the people who, the cyber criminals who are behind this, are well funded. They there, yes, there's the teenagers that are doing some things, and bad things, and creative things at the same time, but there's a lot of cyber criminals and very organized and very sophisticated cyber criminal organizations out there across the globe that are doing really, really bad things. Yeah.
Like you mentioned, like state sponsored, for example. So it kind of it runs the gamut. But kind of on a tactical level, I was wondering, like for someone who's just starting, would you recommend them for them to focus on a very specific aspect of cybersecurity, on more kind of the technical side? Is it try different things? Is it network? What what do you think they should kind of invest their time? What will be kind of the biggest payoff for their time invested?
Yeah, so I think from, early in the career or as a student and you want to get into this world, try to do internships. Like we offer internships here at
Hmm.
Human. I know other companies do, to get your foot in the door, get some experience. Um, I didn't come from a technical background. I didn't, you don't need to come from a technical background, but I've learned a lot of the technical aspects of this over the years.
Hmm.
So get in, try to get some experience, get an internship, or go get some certifications. There's a lot of online classes around cybersecurity, so you can kind of get a better understanding of what the market is like, and what's going on out there. And then if you have, I was a finance major undergrad. I was international business as in graduate school. But
Hmm.
those who, so any background is helpful in cybersecurity because it provides a different perspective, right? And in cybersecurity, you need different perspectives to be able to see everything. And I would just say, just try to go get experience, try to get certified, try to take classes.
Hmm.
And if you can get a job, just get a job in cybersecurity and get your foot in the door. And then you can easily, move to other areas of the company, or to move to different companies that serve different needs of the cybersecurity market, right?
Makes
And
sense.
that's what I did. I got invited to become head of marketing, and I learned all about cloud security and microsegmentation, and then I was able to branch out into other areas of cybersecurity over the years that have well rounded my skill base, and that's what I would recommend to anybody. Yeah.
Thank you. That's very good perspective. Kind of switching gears a little bit, without giving too much of your secret sauce. I just want to ask, like, what from the marketing perspective, what's working now from like demand generation, or in what's I know like the toolbox always changes. I know uh, once in a while it's all about conferences, it's all about face to face, then it's all about content generation, then it's all about outbound. um, what's working for you now?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing, there's over 5,000 cybersecurity companies up there. To your earlier point, there's been a lot of investment in this world, and everybody's trying to solve a lot of different pieces of the puzzle. To me, what's really important is that as a marketer that we tell an honest story, right? There's many in the industry, it is known, especially by CISOs and more of the technical people, that there's a lot of too much, there's too much marketing language in what marketers do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to hear that. They want to hear the truth. They want us to be honest. They want us to share proof. They want us to share examples of where you've protected companies and publish content with real research behind it that shows, hey, here's how we solve this problem for a customer.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot talk marketing speak, or they will not listen to you. You immediately lose all credibility.
Mm-hmm.
And us marketers have to be careful about that in the cybersecurity world. And that's my approach has always been that is, okay, we have to tell the truth. We have to say our stories with integrity. We have to keep the marketing language and sales language out. We want to tell real stories of where we've helped people, and that's where we're having success. When we show research, when we show case studies, when we publish, disruptions where we've taken out cyber criminals and actually put them in prison, serving 10-year sentences. Those are the kind of stories that the security community wants to hear about and learn from. And
Mm-hmm.
from that, they realize, hey, this company, human that I work for is doing some really good work, and I have a similar problem. Maybe they can help me.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the best way, in order, and the thing that we do every day, in order to communicate and share with the cybersecurity community how we can help them. And the more we do that, and the more the customers that we have speak on our behalf,
Mm-hmm.
the better off we can tell the story, and we can reach more people to go protect them.
Absolutely, absolutely, makes sense. I imagine from being head of marketing, it's the world is like your world is kind of is full of opportunities, but also it's full of tension. And I'm sure for I know how to your point of making a compelling and authentic story. How do you make sure that your story is heard in an increasingly noisy world? Um, how to build relationships when I don't know maybe the sales organization is more focused on quarterly results. There is always there is always kind of problems you wish you had solutions right now, and,
Yeah.
and kind of the varying degrees from and nice to have like a vitamin to a painkiller. Like my hair is on fire, I need to fix it right now. If you had a magic wand and you could have wished a certain solution in existence, which problem would you solve? Like what solution you wish existed in terms of I don't know whether it's a conference organizer, a community, or a channel, a distribution channel. What is that you wish existed that doesn't exist right now?
Yeah, I mean, especially during the pandemic, from a marketing perspective, everything changed immediately, right? Like there we were, all at RSA a couple of years ago, with 30,000 people, and 2 weeks later, the whole country pretty much shut down, and you weren't able to go see people face to face, right, and build relationships as we used to. So marketing had to redo everything. Like it was a completely different plan 2 weeks later of how we would want to try to continue to build relationships, trust, and a community without being able to see them face to face. And that is a massive challenge, because you can't really replicate that online. You can't do big events online. They just really don't work. So, for us, we moved a lot to more one-on-one meetings, more intimate online events. Like you could still do dinners, you could still do unique experiences, but you had to do it with 8 people, 10 people digitally online to make it meaningful, right? or you would have one-on-one meetings set up through, different cybersecurity communities. And that was helpful too, because the security teams and the CISOs needed to learn themselves. They needed to continue to learn and understand what's out there and what was available to them. So they were open to have these one-on-one meetings as long as it was positioned and done the right way, right? And to me, that's what we've learned. That's how we've had to pivot to. And now that in-person events are starting to come back, we will continue and grow to do them. But these intimate, digital experiences, more one-on-one or more one with a few, will continue. And you do the best of both worlds, and I think that's how you can build relationships and trust. And that's what it's all about in the cybersecurity world. And our marketing is building trust and relationships, because people, they're putting their jobs on the line, they're putting their careers on the line, they can't make mistakes. But if you can bring them something that makes them successful, then they can help their career, help the company, and really solve a lot of problems all at once.
Certainly, certainly. Well, and to your point, the world is constantly changing. Whether it was COVID and work from home and everything came out of it, technology is changing so rapidly, and the world, I guess, is pushed to change with technology as well. If you had a crystal ball, what, in your view, how would the job of a cybersecurity marketer will be different from today? I know 6 months from now, 12 months from now. What are the kind of top three things? Maybe some of the trends will continue to run strong, or maybe get even stronger, or maybe there are certain new emerging themes that you see are picking up that will be more and more prevalent as time goes by. What's your sense?
Yeah, I mean, there's never a dull moment being a marketer, CMO leader in the cybersecurity space. We are learning something new about attacks and about sophistication of cyber criminals, or how do we engage differently with the customers and our the prospects that we try to engage with. We're learning every day. We are trying new things every day because it's constantly changing and shifting. From that, we learn from the successes and do more. From the things that don't work out like we expect, we inspect and determine, okay, what can we do better? And I think that's, as a marketing team, if you could do that, you're going to be very successful. We've also added a lot of new types of tools from a tech stack perspective to understand digitally, especially because prospects and customers have now moved all over the world, right? Everyone's working remote. How do we engage with them in the best way? How do we can understand intent so we send them the right message at the right time to be most helpful to them, without being annoying or without being, have a negative experience, make it a positive experience. And I think that's what's really important for marketers to understand, is the more of a positive experience you create for getting in front of prospects and getting in front of customers, the more value, the more content, the more you can educate them on how they can do things differently and better to help their career and help their company. That's how you're going to be successful. And that changes constantly. 70% of our budget used to be spent all in person. It's never going to go back to 70%. It's maybe going to be 40 to 50%. And we're going to rely on more of these digital experiences, or enabling these great experiences online. And that's going to continue to be around. That's not going to go away once everybody gets back together again. So it's going to be kind of best of all worlds. And I think working with the cybersecurity community and educating the market is how you're going to do well. And then as a CMO, I have to hire the best team, which helps ensure that we're doing all the right things to tell the story and take care of our customers. I think there's going to be more collaboration across cybersecurity, of companies coming together and working together to fight on the side of good against cybersecurity, cyber criminals. We call that collective protection. And I think that is going to be a trend that happens over the next 12 months. More companies are going to come together and say, okay, the only way we can win this war against cyber criminals is if we team up together. and that we show that there are consequences, that we disrupt the cyber criminals. And a
Hmm.
lot of that is telling the marketing story about here's how to do it, here's examples of how it's done, and then more companies will join in, and then
Hmm.
eventually that's how we will win. So I think you're going to see all those different types of trends happen more and more over the next 12 months.
Interesting. And it's interesting that you mentioned that during COVID, whenever everyone was remote, it sounds like you developed like organizational muscle to create experiences online, whether one-on-one or in small groups, which means now the world is coming more, people are more kind of willing to meet face to face, but you already have this kind of scar tissue or capability, organizational capability, which sets you up very well to continue with that as you kind of shifting a little bit more away from face-to-face events, but you already have this uh, newly found capability of delivering meaningful and impactful online experiences. So it sounds like it's a, I don't know, a silver lining, I guess, of a very traumatic experience for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, we've learned a ton. It has been incredibly challenging, but incredibly rewarding as well. And we're fortunate as a company of human. As I mentioned, we just merged with a company called Perimeter X, and we feel we have something really unique to go and help the companies around the world with. And to me, representing that as a brand, as a CMO, to be able to have that responsibility, number one, but two, to show that, hey, things can get better, things we can actually win, and we can actually disrupt cyber criminals, and telling those stories to me is just incredibly satisfying, and it's very honorable for me. I want to
Mhm.
look back on my career and say, hey, the things that I've done has had a positive impact on the world. And that may sound a little hokey, but to me, it's really important. I've got kids, I've got family. And, I want to look back and say the people I've worked with were amazing. I've made some incredible friendships. I have many CISOs who are my really good friends. And it's because we've worked together in these scenarios and hard scenarios, and came out on the other side of this in a better place. And to me, I couldn't ask for more from a career as a CMO, and I couldn't tell anyone who's considering it, who's now a student, that they couldn't find a better path to go, is to go into cybersecurity and be able to tell that story honestly. And I think if they did, they would be very successful as
Mhm.
marketers going forward.
It's amazing. It's kind of like what Simon Sinek calls what is your reason why, and what is you really kind of get to meaning of what is the meaning of what you're doing, and what you just described. It's very strong and very impactful. I imagine it's also very rewarding as well.
It is. It's very powerful. We feel very passionate. Sorry, you can hear my dogs in the background. We feel very passionate about what we do, the brand, and because of that, we're able to attract a lot of great employees. We call them humans to the company, right? From people from all over the world. So part of the CMO's job is to not only tell the story to prospects and customers and the media and analysts and things like that, but it's also to help you know attract the best people in the world to come and work for the company. And when you do that, and a lot of good things can happen, and that's when the magic happens, and that's when
Mhm.
companies become successful. And a company of consequence, which is the goal of our company, is to be a company of consequence that really has an impact, and disrupts the economics of cybercrime, makes it harder for cyber criminals to be successful, and reduces the cost of collective protection for the companies we serve. So when you do all those things right, really impactful things can happen, and that's what I'm excited about.
Awesome. Well, that's not a very admirable and noble reason why. And kind of to that point, we're at Athenia kind of very grateful to have Human as as a partner. And I know we're coming up on time. I'm just want to get your feedback. I know you've been through a number of rounds of those executive briefings, and we're still kind of trying to make the concept more impactful, both for the CISO community and for cybersecurity companies as well. from your perspective, what in the specific format of this one-on-one executive briefings, what has worked and where you think we can do better?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as I mentioned earlier, it's hard with 6,000 cybersecurity companies. It's hard to get the attention of the people you want to get in front of, right? It's hard to do that, especially now you can't do it in person as well as you could, right? So working with Affinia and working with you, it's a partnership, right? It's a friendship, right? I mean, we've now seen each other multiple times, and it's about trust and integrity and the like, and it's about introducing a company and a CISO for the right reasons to try to, one, make them aware of the problems that we see that they might be experiencing, educate them, and say, hey, there is a different way to do something here that can solve your problem. And if we do that right, and we do it with, again, honesty and integrity, and with the right type of relationship, long-term relationship building, then we're going to be successful. And those are the things that I see that we're doing with you. It's been helpful to us. We've learned a lot along the way. We're tuning how to make sure this is not a sales call. We're talking about how this is the start of a relationship, and we're trying to provide as much value to them as we can. And I think if we do that right, it's going to help the CISO and it's going to help us, and it's obviously to us really, really important. So we appreciate the partnership. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I know we have a minute left. What do you think we could do better, and as we structure them in your view?
I think, the more both sides are prepared and understanding about maybe what the conversation is going to be about. So when we meet for the first time, both are a little, more focused on what's the best thing to go talk about during that introductory session, right? Like, do we understand their pain points? Have they shared their pain points? If those things we know in advance, then our conversation could be much more valuable quicker. I think that would be helpful. And if they knew more about us, going into the call, and we knew more about them, I think that would be helpful as well.
I see. So it sounds like if we did like a mini survey before the call, so that, I don't know, 2-3 questions, this will help hit the ground running. And to your point, the conversation will start kind of from halfway there, Mark, not from the from square one.
Yeah, and if there's any bio about the individual or the company, you can look things up on LinkedIn and things like that. But if that's a part of it, you never know. Like, we could have graduated from the same, high school, right? And that's an immediate connection that you don't know unless that question's asked, right?
Right.
So those kind of, coincidences turn into a different conversation, right?
Right.
I'll give you one example. We have a suite at Madison Square Garden. We invite prospects and customers to that, and we say, hey, Harry Styles is in town. You can come and bring a +1. And a lot of them have brought their, one of their kids, and they have an amazing experience. We didn't know them before that event, but they had an amazing time. The son or daughter, however, whoever they brought, their significant other, they had an amazing experience. The conversation is very different after that, right? And it can be the same thing virtually if you create a great experience and start the relationship on the right way. And when you build the foundation like that of trust and honesty and friendship, to be perfectly honest, then it's a different conversation. And that's where, again, the magic can happen.
Absolutely, because, well, when you treat someone as a human being, and you see the person for who they are, and you acknowledge their wants and needs, they're not just the lead. It's not just the line in the spreadsheet. You're not transactional. You're playing the long game. Then the magic happens. At least that's, in my experience, has been the case.
Yeah, and that's one reason why we called the company human, right? It's what it's all about. We're protecting the humans from automated attacks and things like that, and we treat our customers, prospects, everybody we engage with, the vendors we work with. We're all human. We're all trying to do the right thing, and we're all trying to do the right thing on the side of good. And to me, that's a wonderful mission, and something as a marketer I'm thrilled to be a part of.
Absolutely. Yeah. Dan, thank you so much for your time. For listeners, where should we send them website, email, LinkedIn, Twitter? What's a
Yeah,
good?
best thing's the website. It's www.humansecurity.com to learn more about us. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, it's Dan Dan Lowden, Lowden. Happy to connect with people and help folks along the way.
Excellent. Thank you so. Then, so happy to have you here, and thank you so much for your time.
You bet. Thank you, Misha.